Hello everyone, and today I've been talking to a few people and they're like, oh, I really want to get into DBD, but it seems so complicated, I don't understand what to do. And I thought, you know what, there would be a lot of people joining DBD, and there's always going to be, people leaving, people joining, because, it's an online video game and people take breaks every now and then. So I was like, okay, let's talk about, what is the best way to start playing DBD. The first thing that I'm going to be doing is just talking about the game from the killer side without spending any money. Then I'll go to the survivor side, what is the best builds you can make, because all of the survivors fundamentally are the same. And then talk about which perks are the best free-to-play perks that you can get. There'll be a lot more to talk about in that one. And then if you had $30, which DLCs could you get? Kind of like which are the two best DLCs to get for perks, and then which one is the best for you, pretty much. So starting with killers, the killers you start with are in the non-special edition of the game, so regular version. So if you got it from the Epic Game Stores event or something like that, this is the killers you'll be starting with. The Trapper. So I have a skin on, but so the Trapper has the power of bear traps. You start with 2 and you can put one down at a loop or anywhere you want, and the way that they work is if someone walks into one, it's basically a free down. Especially if it's in a loop, they get stuck in it, they take damage, you hit them or you grab them out of it, and then boom, you have a survivor on your shoulder, you put them on a hook. The problem with this power is it takes time to set up, the bear traps can be disarmed, but he is a pretty okay starting killer, because like a lot of people, even I, and I have like 1,000 of hours on this game, even I don't look at the ground half the time, especially even if, only when I've been trapped once do I actually start to okay, I need to look at the ground. The perks though that you get with Trapper are Unnerving Presence. This perk isn't very good, and I will be completely honest about the perks that you get and should you be spending your resources getting this killer. So this one has the ability of your terror radius has a 10% greater chance of triggering skill checks while repairing or healing, making it harder to do skill checks. However, survivors, even at lower MMR, shouldn't be really having trouble with skill checks unless they're trying to get great skill checks or if their game's a little laggy. Brutal Strength, you break pallets, breakable walls, and generators 20% faster at level 3. The teachables only show you level 1. This is a pretty decent perk, if they're throwing down pallets, it just allows you to get into the game a bit faster. So this perk is actually a pretty decent perk. It's the only one I have unlocked because of a different mechanic in the game. But yeah, so this one's actually a pretty decent one to go for, however, it's not the best one. So we'll get into those ones first, but do remember that this is a decent perk. An Agitation, whenever you carry someone, your terror radius is increased, making it, kind of like being yes, I'm carrying someone, but at the same time you move faster while carrying the body, meaning that you just move faster to a hook, just being able to clutch out those hooks where they were just too far away, but now you can be able to get them. This is also a pretty decent perk, however. Having to get a character to level 40 for a perk such as this isn't probably the best use of your starting game supplies. The Wraith. So the Wraith has the ability to be cloaked and to be uncloaked. While uncloaked, you can actually hit survivors, pick them up, put them on hooks. While cloaked, you kind of seem a little bit invisible. And once you uncloak from the cloaked state, you get a massive burst of speed and can really just wail on your opponent. You can still break things in both forms. The perks that you get for Wraith are Terrible, Predator, Bloodhound, and Shadowborn. All of these are just really small stat increases. Wraith is a really good character just to start off with. He's just a normal M1 killer. He just has an ability to ding 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 whack. So he's really simple. Don't think there's difficulty intermediate actually thinks anything. It does not mean anything at all. Wraith is a very good character to just start off with. Now we come to the Hillbilly, the last of the original 3 characters. So the perks that he has is Enduring, which is 50% less pallet stuns, which is pretty good. It means that you can get into the game. So if you have enduring and like brutal strength, you really just get into the game again really quickly. Lightborn, this is kind of a meme perk, like, oh, you can not be blinded by flashlights, but most of the time, you know, most people aren't going to go for flashlights, and when they do, they're wasting their own time anyway, so, eh. And then Tinkerer, this is one of like the characters who actually has a ridiculously good perk as his level 40. When a generator is repaired to 70%, you get to see where that generator is, and you are undetectable. Survivors cannot see your aura, they cannot see your red stain, they cannot see anything other than just you for 12 seconds. Well, 14 seconds at max level. Chainsaw, the way that this works is pretty much he runs at the speed of Usain Bolt with a chainsaw with his M2. You have to charge it up. The best way to do this is to give a bit of space between you and maybe like a wall or something, and then slowly tilt your mouse in and out of areas, like really small nudges, and then vroom to a location. You can also use it to one-hit down people, so he has really good chase potential, really good down potential. So he's a lot harder. He is not actually difficult to easy. He's actually a bit harder, but he is like really good still. If you put time and effort into him, he will actually get you good results. Talking about good results, Nurse, the first DLC killer of the game, and another character you'll get for free. The perks that they have are Strider, which kind of don't worry about it. You know, you can just turn up your headphones, or like, you know, your headset, or just your game volume if you really need to hear someone. Thanatophobia. Every single time you hit someone, they get a 4% regression. I think it goes to 5% at max level, so you get 20%. All survivors, if they're all injured, get like 20% slower sabotaging, totem cleansing, and repairing the generators, the main objective. So Thanatophobia is really good. It just allows you to, you know, like force people to heal, and if you're using another perk that we'll talk about later, it makes it even slower to heal, so the entire game just goes into disarray. And the final perk that she has, which is another really good perk, is Nurse's Calling, which at max level gives you 28 meter range, and anyone who's in that 28 meter range who is healing, you get to see. You just get to see their aura, you just get to see them straight up. Anyone who's healing someone, or anyone who's being healed, you get to see their aura. However, that power is where maybe this character isn't the best for you. They're the strongest character in the game, but at the deficit of being the hardest to learn. So the way that they work is they move slower. They move slower than a survivor, which is 4 meters per second for a survivor. So they run slower than that. But what you can do is you can blink through walls, through anything, as long as you blink to an available spot in the ground. You can do it. You can do it up walls, you can do it downstairs, you can do it anywhere. And then you get an extra chain blink. So what you do is you blink into their direction, and then you chain blink into where they are, hit them, or then down them. That's how you use Nurse. So they're really good perk-wise, but they might be a bit too hard just as a general, like, okay, let's go play the game killer. And the final one that you will start off with the normal edition of the game is the Huntress, who has the ability of having MLG hatchets. You get 5 hatchets, you go to lockers to refill, so, you know, you just have to do that to get your hatchets back. And if you hold down the M2 or whichever button you'll be using for that, you charge your hatchet and then you throw it faster and further. She does move a little bit slower, but her terror radius is a little bit smaller. However, she does have a lullaby, which permeates further than that, which is just her singing. The reason why I'm talking about her power first is all of these perks suck. Huntress is a very good character, and is a character that you can kind of really easily just play. But it does come down to, like, do you want to, you know, maybe level up the Nurse? Do you want to maybe level up the Hillbilly? Just get some good perks going and then go into the Huntress, which is probably the easiest, funnest character to just start getting into in DBD, other than maybe Wraith or Hillbilly. So let's talk about the perks, the basic perks that you can get for all of the killers. Here is my Hillbilly skin. Very funny, I know. The perks include things such as Bitter Murmur, which is a pretty decent perk. And the other perk that I was alluding to earlier is called Sloppy Butcher. So whenever you hit someone, they get mangled, and mangled has the effect of making healing 25% slower, I believe. Perk versions might be a bit different, but typically on most add-ons at least, 25% healing speed reduction, which is still very good. You can also get things like Unrelenting. I honestly don't believe that you should try to run a perk like that, but you can if you want. There's also basic perks such as Whispers and other things and the like. I do believe I have other killers. I do believe the Clown, and maybe, yeah, I think the Clown has more basic perks. Nah, it's really not seeming like... Yeah, there's not that many good default perks that you can get in the game, sadly. But there is one, because this character's no longer in the game. The Demogorgon's no longer in the game. Ah, what the... Not you, Nemesis. And he has a perk called Jolt. And what Jolt is whenever you put someone in the dying state with a basic attack, all generators within 32-meter radius blow up and lose 8% regression, and it can be triggered every 40 seconds. This is now free, as well as the perk Fearmonger, which is a very annoying and fun perk. So Exhaustion is the best thing for survivors, and when we go to the survivors, we'll be talking about that. And pretty much this perk, while they're on gens, which is the best time for them to lose their exhaustion and be able to use their perk again, it causes exhaustion. So the entire time they're on the gen, no, you're not getting your exhaustion. So both of these perks are very good, and you can get them for free now. So that's very good. So what are the best things do I believe for starting off with killer? I believe that the best killers are Huntress, Wraith, and Hillbilly, just starting off non-special edition, obviously. And then maybe leveling up like Hillbilly, Nurse, and then leveling up whichever one you want to do otherwise, just because then you can have Tinkerer, you can have Nurse's Calling, you can have a perk called Hex Rune, No One Escapes Death, which is a very good endgame perk. And then you can run Jolt. So you can have Jolt, Noed, Nurse's Calling, Tinkerer. You can kind of just understand how everything goes in the game. I do believe the Hillbilly is one of the better characters just to start off with, because he has mobility and he has Tinkerer, which allows you to really understand that, okay, gens are getting done, and I need to stop them. It's a very good way to start the game. So now for Survivor, non-special edition start, let's see like what you can do with them. And spoiler, it's a lot more. The game is, I feel, kind of catered to, like giving you on one side that's like a lot easier. So with Survivor, you start off with Dwight, Meg, Claudette, Jake, Nia, William, Bill Overbeck, and David King. These are the characters that you start off for free non-special edition. So let's go over their perks, shall we? So, the perks that Dwight have are Bond, which is okay, it actually does something. Leader, which basically makes everything that isn't generators get done, I think 25% faster at max level. And then Prove Thyself, which is the big perk for Dwight, which is whenever you're doing a generator with another person, you get a 15% repair speed bonus. And you get a little bit more blood points as well for doing those actions. So, a very good perk, but the rest of his kit is pretty meh. So then we go to Meg. Meg is probably one of the characters you'll be leveling up first. She has Quick and Quiet, which is kind of a meh perk. Meg, haha. And then you have Sprint Burst, which is an exhaustion perk. Let's talk about how exhaustion works. So once you trigger an exhaustion perk for 60 seconds, or at level 3, 40 seconds, you cannot be running. Well, you can run, but if you're not running, then that timer will then slowly tickle down. So doing generators is a very good way to get your remove your exhaustion status effect, and then you can use the perk again, unless it is a adrenaline perk. Well, the adrenaline perk, which is immediately, no matter what, you heal 1 health state at the end of the game. You move at 150% movement speed for 5 seconds. I think this goes to 7 seconds. So it does more than Sprint Burst, because it's the end of the game, and then you get, you don't get exhausted. You get exhausted for 40 seconds at level 3. So Sprint Burst and Adrenaline are very good perks. You know, you move 100% movement speed as soon as you run. Typically the way you use this is you're on a gen, a killer comes over, you're like, okay, we're going to do a loop, and then you run to a loop. And then you run with it all the way to going to a gen. You keep it like 99, so you stop, you go around and walk, and then as soon as it's like 90%, you go into a gen again, and then like, oh, the killer's back, I can just run, go do the thing again. Next character, Claudette, also known as Blendette, because they can blend into a lot of surfaces. Empathy just shows you people you can heal. Botany Knowledge makes it your healing speed and item efficiency better, meaning you just get more heal out of your, out of what you're doing. And Self-Care, which is a perk that a lot of survivors use. However, due to newer perks, it's kind of a little bit outdated, but you pretty much be able to heal yourself at 50% at 50% the speed, which is not very good because a lot of killers just like, that's just giving the killer free advantage. Jake has one ridiculously good perk and then two not very good perks. Iron Will at level 3 makes it so you cannot make noise when you are injured, and it is the craziest, best thing ever. Jake might just be a character you want to get to level 30 just so you can unlock this perk. Calm Spirit basically makes it so woodland creatures like the birds just don't go scared and fly up. And you don't scream either, so that counts as like one killer and maybe 2 or 3 perks. It's not really useful. And Saboteur just allows you to, sabotage hooks and make them go away for a little bit longer. And it makes it so that if you're using a toolbox, it makes it faster. Not very good. Nia came with the nurse, and she has her own exhaustion perk, Balanced Landing. So once you fall, the grunt from falling and the stun that you typically get are reduced heavily, and you get the sprint burst effect of 100%, 150% movement speed for 3 seconds. You'll be exhausted for 40 seconds. Urban Evasion, don't use this perk, and Streetwise, it allows you to basically keep your item around for longer. So if you have Streetwise and Botany Knowledge with a medkit, you can kind of heal for a long time. So pretty good. However, the character you will probably be playing at the start of the game is William Bill Overbeck from Left 4 Dead 1. He has Left Behind, don't use this. And Borrowed Time, do use this. At max level, it gives the survivor you rescue, I believe, 12 or 14 seconds of endurance, meaning they cannot be downed. So the hardest thing about this game is that once the killer has put someone on a hook, they're injured when you unhook them. So then they can just get downed again, put on the hook, and then they're probably just going to be dead. Borrowed Time is the only perk that allows that to be nullified. You just say no, which is why it's one of the best perks in the game. Unbreakable is a perk where if you've been downed and your killer is not really picking you up, you can fully heal up from the dying state, and once per game, just get up. It is a power play among power plays. And if it does work, you can sometimes you can just win a match just because of this. And the final free character you get is David King, who actually has 2 pretty good perks. We're Gonna Live Forever, just a basic blood point perk where if you safely unhook someone so they don't get downed again, Borrowed Time. Take a hit to protect a survivor. Rescue a survivor by stunning the killer with a pallet or a flashlight. You get 25% blood points. It goes up to 100% at max level, and it's just a really good blood point perk. And the other one, which is the best exhaustion perk in the entire game, is Dead Hard. So once you are running and injured, you can press the active ability button, so the UI will tell you what that is, and once you press forward, you will do a dash. You will avoid any damage. You can do it over many things, and you will then be exhausted for 40 seconds. So what do I think is the best thing for survivors? I honestly think it's like Dead Hard with Borrowed Time, with something like Iron Will and Adrenaline. I think that's pretty much the best build you can do at the start of the game. It is 4 characters, so it is annoying. However, all of these characters are actually good, so you can kind of just be like, okay, which one's my favorite? But the thing is that if you rather Sprint Burst than dead hard, then that's only 3 characters, and you can end by doing Meg. So that means you just level up Jake to level 30, Will to level 35, so you get borrowed time, and then boom, you just go back to Meg, you get her to level 40, and boom, you have all of those perks. Bam! Really good build. Now let's go on to Special Edition. And for Special Edition, we'll stay on Survivors. You get Ace, and you get Feng Min. So what does Ace give you? 3 perks that basically no one ever used and no one will use. However, Ace does have this special thing of basically having inbuilt Iron Will. He is very quiet while injured. And Feng Min starts with the perks Lithe, Alert, and Technician. Technician is a not good perk, so don't really use it. Alert allows it so whenever a killer breaks a pallet, generator, breakable wall, you see their aura for 4 seconds, so it just allows you to passively throughout a match just keep tabs of where the killer is. But their Exhaustion perk is my favorite Exhaustion perk of the entire game. So once you vault, so fast vault a pallet, or you fast vault a vaultable location, you speed at 150% movement speed for 3 seconds, and then you get Exhaustion for 40 seconds. One of my personal favorite perks, and that's only if you have the Special Edition though. So that's also just a preference thing. I do think that having Meg with borrowed time, Iron Will, any Exhaustion perk you want, and Adrenaline is still probably the best thing for you as a survivor. And you kind of don't need to do anything above that. That's pretty much just the best. You don't need to spend any money if you're playing Survivor. Killer. The Special Edition gives you access to 2 killers, the Hag and the Doctor. So with the Hag, what perks do you get? And what is her power? So her power has the ability of having 10 traps, and basically in your terror radius-ish, double your terror radius pretty much. If a trap is triggered by someone running over it or walking over it, they have to crouch to not trigger it, or use a flashlight to burn it. You teleport to them and basically try to get a free M1. And you have 10 of them. So pretty much the way that she works is she makes a spider web out from a certain location. Maybe, you're protecting a generator, maybe you're protecting a totem, maybe you're protecting a hook. Like there's someone on the hook and you want to make sure that they stay on that hook. The perks that she has are Hex the Third Seal, Hex Rune, and Hex Devour Hope. All of these are hexes. What are hexes? So there are 5 totems around the map, and if you have a totem perk, they will be glowing orange. Survivors can also bring perks called boon perks, which glow blue, and if you see one, break it. It does not break the totem, but it does remove their boon, which is very good. But so Third Seal, as you hit people, at level 3, as soon as you hit every single survivor once, they are all blinded for the rest of the trial. Hex Rune, which is the best hex perk in the game, and is a really, if you get the Special Edition of this game, Hag might just be one of the characters you level up first, just because of how insane this perk is. It is the carrier of carriers, if you can keep it long into a game. The way that it works is that level 3 generators, it regresses the repair progress of generators at 200% the normal regression speed rather. Huntress does today. And what that actually means is, so gens take 90 seconds. They regress at half that. So it takes 180 seconds for a gen to fully regress if it was at 100, which is not mathematically possible, but let's just be semantic. This makes it go at the exact same speed. So every second they are not working on a gen is a second that's being taken away from that progress. So 90 seconds, if you do a 30-second chase, that's 33% of the entire gen gone for free. Ruin is one of the best perks in the game, and if you have the Special Edition, GG. Devour Hope is kind of like Nomad, where Nomad at the end of the game allows you to one-shot down people at the end of the game. Devour Hope is an earnable version of that. So if you're outside of the hook's radius by 24 meters, this perk will light up to tell you that you've done that. You'll get a token. 2 tokens, you'll get Haste for 10 seconds after hooking a survivor, meaning you'll just move faster after hooking a survivor, making it easier to get that third token, and at 3 tokens, they are exposed. So you can either one hit down everyone and then hook all of them, or you can try to like go into a situation where you kind of just camp the totem, or you make sure the totem is really well defended, and then people have to unhook. You make sure that you're away. If 2 people get unhooked, you can down someone for free, even if they're fully healed, and then mori them. You kill them outright. You may have not even seen them for the entire match. Dead. It is one of the craziest perks, however, it is very inconsistent. And the other character you get is the Doctor, one of my favorite characters. They're not really, massively good, but they're very good for teaching you the game of a basic N1 killer. The way that their power works is like, oh my god, it's a massive thing. Simple. So Madness just makes it so skill checks are harder. Madness 3 makes it so they have to do an action to snap out of it. They can still drop powers, they can still vault windows. And Madness gets given to the survivors whenever you do Shock Therapy or Static Blast. Shock Therapy is, you just zoop, zoop, zoop. You shoot out a beam of electricity onto the ground, and every 2 times it connects with the survivor, their Madness goes up 1. And then he has a special AoE ability where everyone in his terror radius, whatever his terror radius is, gets shocked and then revealed to you, so you get to know where people are for free. You get free map information in a 32-meter radius, and then it automatically brings their Madness up 1 tier. So they are Madness 1, Madness 2, Madness 2, Madness 3, Madness 0, Madness 1. He moves at normal speed, normal terror radius, he's a tall person, but his perks are pretty lacking. Overwhelming Presence, it's a terror radius perk, they're not very good. Monitor and Abuse are very good, not on Doctor though, because you want to make sure that if you're not in a chase, you can still use your AoE ability to know where people are. And when you're not in a chase, your terror radius is decreased by 8 meters, which kind of counteracts that. And then Overcharge, whenever you kick a gen, you're fueled by the hate of your hate for progress. Wow, isn't that all people these days? Whenever you kick a gen, a really hard skill check, so it's only the great skill check zone, which can be affected by Madness. This is pretty much like the perk you'll start running when you play Doctor. Whenever you kick a gen, pretty much if you're really low MMR, like you're just starting the game, they'll fail the skill check. And they'll lose 10% of the gen plus 3%. So they will lose 13% of a gen for free because you just kicked the gen, which also does like another 6%, and it probably lost. You pretty much lose 20% if you lose an overcharged skill check. And that's pretty damn good. So, what are my thoughts? So, these are like my thoughts, right? If you have these 7 killers, then it's like, hey, that's pretty damn good. You can get Hillbilly, and then you can get Doctor. So Hillbilly, Doctor, and then you can get Hag, and then you can kind of have like, let's say you're playing Doctor, you can have Noed, you can have Ruin, you can have Tinkerer, you can have Overcharge, or Sloppy Butcher. So then Ruin, you can't kick gens with Ruin, but it's probably going to be broken at some point, and then you're going to get free advantage anyway, because they had to do something that wasn't gens. Tinkerer, so then you can go to generators, kick them, trap them with Overcharge, and then go do other things, and then you know that someone's done something because you'll hear a in the background, and then you can go back to that gen and beat the crap out of them. But what if you have a little bit of money? Well, if you're playing Killer and you have a little bit of money, you can spend $42 to get the following characters. Let me scroll down. You will get the Clown, the Spirit, the Legion, the Plague, the Oni, the Deathslinger, the Blight, the Twins, the Trickster, and the Artist. All of these characters are very, well, not all of them. Most of these characters are very good. There is not that many licensed characters that are actually top tier. Cenobite, no. Nemesis, no. Pyramid Head, a little bit, yeah. You can't get Demogorgon anymore. Ghostface, no, he's not top tier. Pig, no. Freddy, he's okay. Cannibal, he can be good punishment. And Maya's no. Like, none of them are actually very good. They do have good perks, however. But so do a lot of these other characters. Like, you know, what about my main? What am I using on my main, huh? Like, let's look. Dead Man Switch, which is a Deathslinger perk. Pain Renaissance, which is an Artist perk. Corrupt Intervention, which is a Plague perk. And Barbecue and Chili, which is a Cannibal perk, which I only use this perk because it gives me blood points and I want blood points. If I wasn't using that perk, look how many perks I have to choose from that, you know, are all free perks. Like, you know, I could just use Jolt, and I probably would. It's very crazy that that perk is now a free perk. But yeah, so if you have $42 and you're willing to spend it, you get a lot of characters, and then you can really do stuff like, you know, A+ tier, A+ tier, S tier, A+ tier, A tier. Like, you get a lot of really good characters. Obviously S tier. Starting out like S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. So like the starting characters you get all have different skill ceilings and all have different ranks of how good they are, typically in a match. So if you have $42 to spend, boom, that's like the best investment. But if you don't, what I would recommend is just looking at what you want and always getting Plague no matter what, because Plague is Corrupt Intervention is one of the best perks in the entire game. It just makes sure that you actually have a game. Other than that, go for characters you like the look of. Like, oh man, I really like how Ghostface, you know, really stalks survivors and then gets one-hit downs. I really like how Oni, you know, you beat the crap out of them and you bring out a massive Cabano or whatever that thing is, and then you slam it down and you get one-hit downs. I really like, you know, how freaking suave the trickster is, or I really like how the artist is like has really cool animations for everything. Or, you know, I really like Resident Evil, I really like Silent Hill, I can't buy this killer anymore. Like, there's a lot of things in this game, and there's a lot of like love and attention. It really just comes down to, what do you want to play? Do you want to play Survivor? You don't really need to spend any money. If you want to play Killer though, you might want to spend a little bit of money. Personally, I think what I would do is I would get Plague, Cannibal, and probably like, because like the build I use, which is my favorite build, is the build I have on Deathslinger. But that's not for everyone, and that's 4 characters you have to level up, and then probably another one. Like, that's a lot of effort. So what I recommend personally is Plague and Cannibal. Level up Cannibal first. He will teach you a lot. He has a one-hit down. It's very easy to use. He's one of the easiest killers in the entire game. And you just start with a barbecue chili. What does that do? It allows you to, whenever you hook someone, it allows you to see people who are 40 meters away from you, and for every unique survivor in a trial you hook, so maximum 4, you get 25 blood points. 25% blood points, rather. So you get double blood points for every single game you play. Just really helps the grind. So you play Cannibal, you get him to level 35, you get Barbecue and Chili. You go to Plague, you play her, you get to level 35, cool. Like getting to level 35 isn't even that hard, so it's pretty easy. You get to learn how to play 2 different characters too, you know, like a B tier character and an A+ tier character. And you really get to understand, okay, so this is kind of how the game is played. And then you can kind of just go find a different character you want to play, like, you know. Because Corrupt Intervention gives you so much free time that allows you to do stuff. Barbecue and Chili gives you passive information by doing your objective. So then it just turns into, you know, like, go find 2 perks. Maybe you get perks from killers, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll just, like, use the default perks. Because there are actually some good ones, like Jolt and Sloppy Butcher, or Nomad. So I hope this video has been very informative. I hope you all really liked it. Sadly, there isn't any gameplay. Because that's me. But maybe I will do some videos on how to, like, a match with every single killer with maybe no perks or something on that lines. And then we'll just try to see, like, how do their power work? Like, how maybe I'll do it with only their default perks. So like only like these 3 perks. I'll get them all to level 3. And it's like, okay, how does everything work? What is everything doing? Let's go see what it is. If I do a video like that, I'll probably make it in the next few days. Maybe 1 or 2 days, I'll go make that video. But in the meantime, I hope you've all had a lovely day, and I hope you enjoy, like, this. I will be doing, definitely, no matter what, a how does the game of Dead by Daylight work fundamentally video, which will probably just be gameplay, and then me talking about things, probably with MS Paint drawings. But until then, see you next time, and have a lovely day.